stunned the college football world, and especially folks in and around the ACC with that victory on the road. Georgia Tech won the toss. It will receive. Duke to kick it away, and Charlie Ham. Hassan Hall deep near his own goal line. The opening kick from Ham goes through the end zone. No return from Hall. So we'll get to see Jeff Sims operate this offense. Georgia Tech 2-3 on the year, 1-1 in conference play, and Sims last week, James, had a TD pass, a key touchdown pass in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, his 22nd start here. The junior, out of Jacksonville Sandalwood High School. A little bit of a sloppy start, and actually got lucky with a couple dropped would-be interceptions early, so he's got to start strong here. That's a nice way.
Sims to his left and complete. Dylan Leonard tackled by Joshua Pickett. Nice 15-yard pickup on the first play from scrimmage for the Ramblin' Wreck.
Well, and you got to think that everybody wearing a black hat here today for the Duke Blue Devils, they have prepared for this football team to run the football at them. They've got an offensive line coach as a head coach now, after all.
That is Hassan Hall, the transfer from Louisville, tackled by Shaka Hayward. And so, well, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our impact players, brought to you by your local Toyota dealers base.
Yeah, and thank you very much, Hassan and Shaka, combining on that last play right there. But Hassan Hall brings a different gear to this offense, the transfer from Louisville. And Shaka Hayward is sideline to sideline all day. This is Hall trying to make a move at about the 47 as he crossed into Duke territory. Jalen Stinson stood him up. The junior with the tackle, 8 yards for Hall. And the sticks are moving for Georgia Tech. Yeah, it's a three-back rotation, really, with Hall, Smith, and McDuffie for Georgia Tech. But expect Hall to run this thing until he needs a little bit of a breather, because he really had a good week against Pitt last week. That ball is incomplete at the 40-yard line of the pass by Sims. You mentioned Hassan Hall, James. Last week he had 20 carries for 157 yards. And Hall, who had only had a total of 103 yards rushing prior to last week at Pitt, as Coach Key's team took out the number 24 team in the nation at the time last week. He's had some big games for Louisville. 162 a couple years ago against Virginia. Looked like Sims got it right back on a deflection, perhaps, by Cam Dillon. He was looking into the flat for Hall. Watch this. Cam Dillon is starting for Dorian Mausi. The linebacker should be able to go, just not starting here today, and a good job by Dillon, but it goes right back into some dangerous hands of Jeff Sims. Still a third down and long, though. And this Duke defensive front, the linebackers, they've done an excellent job. Last week, they must have batted down about 7. Just 29% on third down. They're going deep inside the 20. And Georgia Tech going for the home run ball, incomplete off the arm of Sims. Just 29% on third down, James. That's 14th in the ACC. Oh, and this one, he had a couple steps, too. And what a shame. Just off the fingertips of Leo Blackburn. Saw E.J. Jenkins early in that Pittsburgh game last week make an incredible one-handed catch. Similar type situation. But this one's going to bring out the punting unit after that miss. David Shanahan will punt it away. Jalen Calhoun is the deep man. About the 8 for Calhoun. To the 25. Up near the 30-yard line for Calhoun. On the return for Duke. Keon White had the special teams tackle. Riley Leonard, the sophomore quarterback, so impressive a week ago, James, in that victory against Virginia at home. He threw for 129 yards and he had 2 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, and he's from the giddy-up of this season and from the Mike Elko era. He's just come out swinging. Completed his first 15 balls in week 1, his first 7 of the game in week 2, 11 of his first 12 in week 3. So he doesn't ease into these battles.
Puts it in the air, drops it off. Jordan Waters, number 7 in white and Duke blue. Waters refusing to go down. He's got first down yardage up near the 39-yard line. Charlie Thomas finally brought him down. That's 12 yards on the play.
Getting it to Waters, who's got great hands out of the backfield there. His buddy Jalen Coleman is not going to be able to go today, so he'll shoulder the load quite a bit. And then Jaquez Moore, who had a nice outing in the win over Virginia last week.
Waters had a rushing touchdown in the win against the Cavaliers. This is right up the middle. There's space for Jaquez Moore. And he's also close to first down yardage. He got 10. Brooks on the tackle. Our impact players are brought to you by your local Toyota dealers with Duke on offense, James.
Yeah, and it is this guy from Live Oak, Florida, over towards the Panhandle. Jaquez Moore from Sewanee High School, a Sewanee Bulldog, and Ace Ely has been phenomenal. The 1-2 punch at linebacker, Charlie Thomas and Ely, have been fantastic. Big play after big play here this season.
First down from their own 49 for Duke. They'll try the left side with Moore. Goes ahead for 5 yards.
Project with gas-like power without the gas.
You're supposed to put those heels on the goal line and keep that ball out. He ran into the official, threw his timing off, so dodging a bullet, Georgia Tech. Otherwise, they'd be starting on the 1-inch line.
Hall on the carry, Carter on the tackle for Duke. Three yards on that first down play for Georgia Tech. 1-1 in conference play. They played over at Mercedes-Benz Stadium to start the season against the Clemson Tigers, who are undefeated and number 5 in the nation at Boston College tonight. Sims still has it. First down and more. Second level. Drags the pile past the 40 for Jeff Sims.
Wow, we've talked about in this game how Riley Leonard can run it a little bit. Jeff Sims can run it a lot. Little read here, and it's the right one. And he has the corner. Not only is he reading off of that end, but he has a blocker there to seal the linebacker, and then it's off to the races. When he gets going north and south, look out. There's damage to be done, moving those chains up near midfield. 19 yards on the run by Sims. That pocket will fold in on Sims, and he goes down. R.J. Oben, number 94 for Duke. Yeah, across the board, this defensive front, they've been getting to the quarterbacks. Carter's back there providing some pressure as well. He takes the eyes of Jeff Sims. He's watching Dwayne Carter, and watch out for Oben. Oben with the big haymaker coming over the top, and it's second down and 17 now after the loss of 7. Very important to keep those rush lanes for both of these defensive lines here all 4 quarters today.
This will be second and 17 from the 35. They swing it out. Hall made the catch, broke a tackle, then Pickett took him down, 40-yard line. 4 yards on the play, James.
Nice job by Pickett to just read it and react, go up there. Even though he didn't wrap up, he did a good job of not letting Hassan Hall get those shoulders turned where he can make a move. And how about turning and burning? Mr. Duke, Dwayne Carter, coming from his defensive tackle spot.
6'3", 298, Dwayne Carter. Pressure on the edges. Sims got it away over the middle, and it's incomplete, and a flag comes out. Ryan King, intended receiver, defending Chandler Rivers for the Blue Devils. Penalty marker.
Pass interference. Defense number 0. Automatic first down.
James, that's Timothy Hedgepeth, our referee this afternoon.
There's a look at Rivers right there, middle of your screen, and it's not there at the end of the play. He's holding him coming out of his break. and Chandler and company, that's why it's so important defensively. Where am I on this field? Where are they trying to run those routes? Where are they breaking them off at? What do they have to get to move those chains? Well, the ball was dropped, but with the help of the penalty, they'll keep this one moving on. And taking advantage of a lot of early penalties, big penalties, 15-yarders from the Cavaliers last week was Duke, and playing clean football, not only not turning over the football in their games, but very few penalties so far this year.
From the Duke 45, Sims, quick release after the play fake. Blackburn made the catch, slow to get up. 7 yards.
You got that right, Tom. The quick release, I mean, that ball's coming in there. The last one was dropped. That one, that's a tough catch right there for the receiver. Excellent job. Nice chunk of change there on first down. 2nd down and 3.
Sims, 25. Hayward had to make the tackle. And once that engine fires up, watch out for number 10.
Yeah, it's a little bit smoother and more modern than the Ramblin' Wreck, the beautiful car that they pull out here in pregame. That's futuristic right there, that quarterback.
Sims got 15 previous play, tosses this one down near the 5. Now, penalty marker came out behind the play, and it is incomplete. The receiver was out of bounds. Ryan King. Jalen Stinson was back there with King. There's a flag in the offensive backfield for Georgia Tech.
Holding. Offense number 3. Take our penalty. Repeat first down.
Yeah, there's a good look at it and a good call, an easy call. And even, just a chance to teach it, even had that toe been all the way in and that heel came down on the paint, that's out. The other way around, though, if he's going forward is when you can drag that toe. But not in that case. It's a full step type of motion. And to add to it, they're going back the other way with the hold.
This is Smith. Near side, 20-yard line. Just inside it, Dillon had to track him down for Duke. 14 yards on the play. The trio of Dante Smith, Dylan McDuffie, and Hassan Hall.
How about Smith right there? Nice little shake to get outside. Put a move on Pickett.
Georgia Tech 11th in the conference in the red zone. Sims trying to turn that corner. Fights his way inside the 10. Darius Joyner on the tackle.
This is an offensive front that really needed to grow up. They're a key. If Georgia Tech is to win this game, the offensive line has to take over, and they have the defense on their heels right now.
In the CPI security red zone for Georgia Tech, Dante Smith into the middle of the line. That was the 10th play of this drive. So Georgia Tech on the doorstep of that Duke end zone. Trying to get on the board first after snapping a 9-game losing streak to Football Bowl subdivision opponents last week at number 24 Pitt. Sims calls his own number. Tries to get away at the 5, and he can't do it. Brandon Johnson put the vice grips on Sims.
Yeah, Jeff Sims doesn't need a lot of room and the defense to wiggle out, but absolutely nothing there. Nice angle by Brandon Johnson and a nice job wrapping up to drop him. And here's a 3rd down. Had to settle for field goals a couple times in the win over Pitt last weekend. They don't want to do that right here. They want to find a way to get into the paint. 5 yards to go.
12th play of the drive. Sims looking left all the way. An attempted one-handed grab, incomplete. Wow, what an effort by E.J. Jenkins, who caught a TD pass against Pitt from Sims in the 4th quarter last week. Couldn't come up with that one.
Yeah, well, it was a one-handed, incredible grab in the 1st quarter last week, just like this one, but unable to reel it in. A nice effort, though, and a nice ball thrown by Sims, where only Zero can go up and get it. The transfer from South Carolina, incomplete, though.
So Gavin Stewart is on for the field goal attempt for Georgia Tech. We'll call it 22 yards for Stewart. 4 for 4 on the season. They all came last week against Pitt, and this one is good.
Gavin Stewart hadn't kicked a field goal since the end of the 2020 season. 4 of 4 last week, and he keeps on coming. It's 3-0 Jackets.
It's Ford SUV season. Time to gear up for changing conditions on and off-road. Get great deals on our
Fall moments made easy. That's totally Target.
Welcome back. Some extremely sad news has rocked the ACC community in college football over the last week. Tenured ACC official Tom Zamorsky tragically passed away last weekend after the Clemson-NC State game. During that game, he served as the replay official. Now, he is a decorated football official who's worked for the ACC for over 2 decades, first as an umpire, then as a repeat official. And he's made a huge impact on college sports as a coach, official, and administrator. And the legacy he leaves behind has touched many people. And to honor his legacy, all of the officials today will be wearing the letter Z on their hats in honor of him and the impact he has made in so many people's lives. Rest in peace, Tom Zamorsky.
Absolutely, Lauren. So sad. I mean, so many times before games he'd come by and see if there was anything we needed from his replay booth coming upstairs. A true pro and an incredible gentleman.
We just saw Tom, James, a couple of weeks ago. We were in Charlottesville, and he stopped by the booth beforehand. And you know what's funny is that Tom and I talked about that very thing, about the ball breaking the plane as opposed to the NFL rule where the player can leap from outside of the end zone and bat the ball back, provided it's bounced before the goal line. We talked about that very thing, and we'll certainly miss Tom Zamorsky.
Absolutely.
So the Blue Devils, James, they have owned the first quarter against their opposition. Coming into this game, they had outscored their opponents 66-7 on the season. So to get points off of them, a big accomplishment by Georgia Tech to get 3 on the Gavin Stewart field goal. That's Jordan Moore on the grab, 7 yards.
And while Duke has had some receivers that are starting to make big plays, of course, the big long run that you mentioned earlier, Tom, by Jaquez Moore, 59 yards last week. This isn't a huge big play offense, but they've been fine marching it down the field. Defensively, they've done a good job so far of just keeping them in front. Let them chip away. That's when the mistakes start to pile up.
Waters reversing direction for a minimal gain. Up to the 28-yard line. Only one for Jordan Waters. So that Georgia Tech drive was 12 plays, 76 yards to get 3 points. And they're trying to get the ball right back. It is third and relatively long inside their own 30 for Duke and Riley Leonard.
Big play here. It was a defense for Duke. It was on its heels for most of that drive. They want to give them a little bit of a breather here.
Through his options. That's a first down move by Eli Pankol. Caught the ball near the 35 and then shook the defender. Ace Ely and Miles Sims combined to stop him after 10 yards.
You know, a nice job again, just like we talked about earlier on the Georgia Tech drive. He's breaking it off right at those chains, running those routes as an offensive player too, as a receiver. Where am I on the field and where do I break this route off of? Good timing with the quarterback and a good aggressive come back and get that ball high pointed by Pankol. but then to turn and get up the field north and south to make sure you got the first.
The leader in accuracy in the ACC stays that way. Leonard is 4 for 4 through the air and 31 yards, but his running back, Jarquez Moore, slips down on the artificial surface here in Atlanta. Loss of 1, James. 124 and rolling here in the first quarter.
A veteran offensive line that's had a lot of success here this year, but so far I'm really impressed with that defensive front of Georgia Tech. They're getting after him a little bit, standing them up, not letting them run up and down the field.
Yeah, it's a defense that's 13th in the conference. They allow over 400 yards per game. Leonard tucks it. Gets shoved out of bounds near the 45-yard line, and a penalty marker is out. Kyle Kennard in pursuit, and the hit might have been late.
Yeah, what a shame here. I mean, you're going full speed.
Personal foul, late hit, defense number 9. 15-yard penalty is added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Yeah, hate that for 9. I mean, it's a good hustle play, and you've got to be careful. I think maybe the fact that Leonard, he never showed any intention of cutting the ball up the field, and he was a good step out, and it looked like he tried to pull up a little bit, but that's tough when you got a guy hustling. Obviously, he didn't mean any ill will, just trying to make sure he secures that play. Instead, it's a fresh set of downs for the Blue Devils.
First down inside the 40. Leonard improvising. Sliding safely into second base at the 30, but they're going to mark him at the start of the slide, which was the 34-yard line. Leonard pulling the strings on an offense, James, that is 4th in the conference. They average 444 yards per game, and they score 35 points per game. They were last in scoring on the offensive side of the football last year in the ACC when they did not win a conference game.
Offensive coordinator Kevin Johns doing a fantastic job calling those plays.
Leonard finally got it away. Safety valve. Moore tackled around the ankles inside the 30. LaMiles Brooks. Should be a first down for Duke on the play, and that will be the final play of our first quarter with Georgia Tech up 3-0 on the strength of a 22-yard field goal from Chevy Dealers, with Georgia Tech up 3-0.
Yeah, and look at that. Georgia Tech per carry, almost 7.5 yards, thanks in large part to quarterback Jeff Sims, who's almost 8 yards a carry on 5 carries for 45 yards. Dante Smith, Hassan Hall adding to that as well.
John Tavis Robertson.
They're saying that this was a backwards pass. They're trying to on the sidelines of Georgia Tech anyway. Brent Key's actually out there on the field. Way out there on the field.
That was the 8th play of the drive for Duke.
Yeah, and his arm was hit as he was throwing it, and they have awarded the ball to Georgia Tech. Obviously, they'll take a look at it upstairs, and well, it's a forward pass, but was it a pass at all is what they're questioning here, what they will while we're at break.
Check his ass for 48-hour protection.
Fall vibes made easy. That's totally Target.
During the break, they have taken it back to an incomplete pass. Here's why. As we take a look at the replay that they Didn't take too long to study while we were at commercial, and there you see it. And while the arm was hit, the ball goes forward, which is key. But it also it's a pass, and it certainly didn't look like a fumble. But the thing that was odd was initially they called it an incomplete pass, but then Brent Key went out to midfield and argued it, and it's okay, maybe you're right. But I think they got it right, and it will be Duke ball now. And after that incomplete pass, we'll be looking at a 2nd down and 10. This is the 9th play coming up here of this drive for Riley Leonard and the Blue Devils.
So the ball is spotted at the 27-yard line. It is 2nd down. Georgia Tech with a 3-0 lead. Yellow Jackets have won 2 in a row in the series. They lead here in Atlanta with 30 wins against 14 losses and a tie. And they've won 11 of the last 13 at home against Duke. Moore trying to fight his way. The wrestling match, and Pyle moves down to the 22-yard line, and there are 2 penalty markers thrown in the process.
Looked like some late cleaning off of the pile, which will always get guys in trouble.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 1. The penalty is enforced half the distance to the goal from the end of the play. Automatic first down.
Come on, Charlie Thomas. The targeting we can understand. You're just being aggressive, but you got to be a leader here. Well, does he come back in? Then that's not on number 1. I take it back, Charlie Thomas.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense.
Oh.
That 15-yard penalty is enforced at the end of the play. The down count is 3rd down.
Well, if that's number 1, then that's Robertson. Okay, that makes more sense.
Right there, James?
Yeah.
Right at the bottom of your screen?
Yeah. It wasn't picking off the pile, although there was one of those, but it was, I mean, the way that whistle went, that's a tough one right there. And what a blow for Duke. Backing them up here.
3rd and Durham to go for the Blue Devils. From just beyond the Georgia Tech 35-yard line. I'll tell you what, the last few minutes have been a little erratic and disjointed.
Yeah, we flew through that first quarter. 22-yard line, top of your screen. Yeah, okay, well, you know what? He hit him from behind, and that's, the whistle hadn't blown, but you can't hit a guy from behind, so that's a good call. So a 3rd down now after back-to-back penalties and forever.
Leonard steps up, uncorks an incomplete pass, looking for Pankow. Zamari Walton right in his hip pocket. 4th down, Duke.
Blue Devils finding themselves in a little bit of early trouble with those penalties, and that's exactly why they've been successful, because they have been able to stay away from not only the turnovers, which they almost had, it looked like, on that drive before the review, but the penalties as well. Costly penalties as they were driving down the field, and now they got to punt it away.
3 penalties for 35 yards in the game for Duke. Right near the goal line, that one with some backspin. And then fielded by Hall, and he got popped. Porter Wilson on the punt. How did he do that, James? Man.
Take us to break here, Tom. You call all that PGA golf. How about
true.
this backspin?
He put some professional PGA Tour juice on this one. Wilson using the lob wedge, spins it back, and pins Georgia Tech.
It's Ford SUVs.
All faves made easy. That's totally Target.
A good crew knows conditions can change, especially in life.
It's a boy.
That's why the crew at Carvana gives you 7 days to make sure your car fits your needs. Triplets. This calls for third row seating. Finding the right car can smash your budget. But the crew at Carvana makes it easier to shop for thousands of cars at the right price. So breaking in the new ride won't break the bank. Looks like this little piggy gets to see another day.
So he thinks.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And CPI Security, home security that protects what matters most.
You look like a big choo-choo train. Welcome back to Atlanta, 3-0. Jackets trying to win back-to-back football games for the first time in a long time. But Porter Wilson trying to set his defense up. How about him checking it up right there on the 1-inch line? Remember, in the first quarter, he did a great job of giving his guys a chance. How many times do we see these punters and they're on, well on the opponent's side of the field, and they just punt it into the end zone, worried about their yards. Back-to-back, good balls by Wilson, and this one was fantastic.
Yeah, Wilson playing the breeze and putting Georgia Tech down near its 5-yard line. As we play here in the second quarter, 72 degrees, and the breeze is strengthening to 13 miles per hour. That's a run from Sims. Took a big hit, hung on to the football. Jeff Sims, tough as nails.
Yeah, tough and strong, too. And behind an energized offensive line. Look at the Blue Devils on the ground. You can't make plays on the ground defensively. Nobody knows that more than the folks here in Atlanta, because for so many years, that's the way they used to do it, cutting those guys down. And they're cutting them down there on that time, just a different type of offense now.
Sims has 6 carries for 53 yards. Throws this one complete. Blackburn, number 1 in Tech Gold, as we check in with Lauren on the sidelines.
Thanks, Irma. Yeah, I actually talked to Hassan Hall about that this week, of how they found so much success. Last week against Pitt, he said, look, it was our front line. They were holding the ground for us. They were making holes. That's why he was able to run for 157 yards, and you're seeing them continue to do that here today.
Yeah, absolutely. And the coaches said, though, that they've got to grow up in this game, and so far they certainly have, Lauren.
Bashing his way past the 30 and then 35. Nate McCollum, 11 yards for number 8.
Man, even the receivers are getting physical here. Look at the receivers out there blocking, but then McCollum lowering his shoulder, and this will fire up an offensive line coach that's now a head coach, offensive lineman, that's for sure.
Sims spinning it, and the catch made. Down at the 43, it's McCollum again for Georgia Tech at 20 yards.
You see what it can do for an offense when you're able to run the football. They've got to bring guys in. Hey, they're just gashing us time and time again. Well, guess what that opens up? Plays like this, and when you got a guy that can throw the ball like Sims, that's perfect. Beautifully thrown football there, Tom. And I mean, just the show so far early in this game that number 10's been putting on with his wheels, and then delivering it right there. A beautiful ball right before the receiver hits the sidelines and move the chains.
7 of 10 and 65 yards through the air for Jeff Sims, sophomore from Jacksonville, Florida. 3rd year as the starter at Georgia Tech. 23rd career game in a yellow jacket uniform. Hands off to a teammate. 35-yard line. Hayward made the tackle of Hall upstairs and folded him down 6 yards on the play.
You know, and this is an offensive line that's missing one of their regulars in Joe Fusil. So you've got Pierce Quick that had to move over to right guard, and Vaiu Pui to left guard. Done a good job so far. 3rd down and short here.
Hayward made that last tackle, had 13, a game high last week in the win against Virginia. This rush by Hall will grease those chains, and he takes the rambling wreck down to the 30 of Duke.
Yeah, but here's the difference, Tom. Hayward had all those tackles last week, but he was stoning them at the line. Here he's making these tackles 5-10 yards down the field because his defensive linemen are right back there in his lap.
10 first downs in this first half for Georgia Tech. Michael Reese, 59 in white and blue and black, making the tackle. There is a Georgia Tech player down. That is Jordan Williams on the offensive line. We'll check on his status when we return to Atlanta, Georgia. This is ACC Football.
Works Nitro. Professional grade back
on a Fansville homecoming by Dr. Pepper.
Surprise!
CJ, we weren't expecting you.
Hey, buddy, what are you doing here?
Hey, go State.
You replaced me with star quarterback Bryce Young.
We could never replace you.
Here's your Dr. Pepper mom.
Mom?
It's just a silly nickname.
You came up with Dad for me.
Here you go, kid. Huh. They're my family now, CJ.
Next time on Fansville.
Hey, brother. Get out of my room!
Dr. Pepper, the one fans do.
All right, coming up at 7:30 tonight, Wake Forest welcomes the Black Knights to Winston-Salem. It's a non-conference battle with Army. Last Saturday in Tallahassee, quarterback Sam Hartman led the Demon Deacons to the 31-21 win over Florida State. Tonight they'll strive to win game number 5 as October college football in the ACC continues. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area.
Yeah, we'll have to check that one out. Remember last year, the final, Wake winning at 70-56. Over 1,200 yards of offense. Wormy, you want to guess how many punts there were in that game?
1.
Yes. Okay. And that's combined. 1 punt.
Wake has won 10 of the last 11 against the Black Knights. And as James mentioned, 70-56 at West Point last year.
You know what's good to see, too, is they're expecting another sellout. That's 5 or 6 in a row. And that's good to see. And getting out there and supporting their guys that have come so far and playing some good football right now.
I mean, Wake is 4-1. Their only loss, double OT to Clemson. Hall.
Yeah, this is, so far anyway, there's a lot of football to be played, don't get me wrong. But this right here is exactly the kind of offense that Brent Key asks for when he says body blow, body blow, body blow. Because every single snap, that offensive line is shooting off, and they are getting a good punch on that defensive front. And even the linebackers that are making the tackles, they're catching a little bit because they're so far back there. Here's another 3rd down and short now.
10th play of the drive. Sims over center. Follows the lead block. Into the red zone. They'll mark him at the 19. First down, Georgia Tech. Dwayne Carter on the tackle. How about what Georgia Tech did in the red zone last week, James? At Pitt, they were 6 of 7 in the red zone. They did trail 7-6 at halftime, went on to win that 26-21.
Forced 3 turnovers, and even though a couple times they had to settle for field goals, they always came up with points. 13 points, I believe, off of those 3 turnovers.
You're right, James. All of those takeaways you mentioned in the second half at Pitt.
Ball start. Offense number 71. 5-yard penalty. It's still first down.
That's Pierre Quick playing that new spot on the right side of the line. And that, it may seem small, but those momentum killers, when you've got a defense on their heels, Brent Key knows that. That was his spot. There at the right guard spot. He wore that number 70 for the Yellow Jackets. Can't have it, though. You can't have it if you want to win football games.
15th play of the drive. Sims crumpled down. Dorian Mausi. Jamie and Franklin, 55, also there for Duke.
Good to see number 8, Mausi, back out there. Great linebacker from Detroit. You thought the only star of the show from Michigan here today was Lauren Jabara. Oh, no. He missed last week's game, but good to have him out there. Cam Dillon started in front of him. Here's an empty set now. Be careful of that quarterback run.
5 receivers to choose from for Sims. He's looking right. He's looking at the goal line. And it's a touchdown, Georgia Tech. Nate McCollum made the catch. And the Jackets are in the end zone.
They spread them out. Good protection up front, and a great job by McCollum. He knows he's going to take a shot, as does Jeff Sims. That's why he fires it in there on a rope. Uses his body to wall him off. We've seen him run the ball tough and catch it tough already.
An 18-yard touchdown play. Sims with his 4th TD pass, and McCollum his first touchdown catch of the season.
Yeah, how about the throw? How about these Yellow Jackets looking good? One win in the pit, trying to do it back-to-back games. Are up by 10 here in Atlanta.
Check out The Drive, presented by Range Rover Sport.
Yeah, long drive, too. Remember, it started back at their own 5. Jeff Sims running it. Nate McCollum running it hard behind that offensive line and setting up the play-action pass, too. Nate McCollum. Beautifully thrown football there by Jeff Sims. Look at the offensive line. They're eating. Hassan Hall getting them down there. And then to finish off that drive, Jeff Sims to Nate McCollum. 12 plays, 5:44 off the clock. That was pretty if you're a Jacket fan.
Stinson. Up past the 25-yard line on the return for Stinson. They'll mark him at the 27. Now, James, remember, Porter Wilson pinned Georgia Tech down by the 6 with his punt. And then the Yellow Jackets take it the length of the field for the score.
Right, and they did it. I mean, just chipping away and taking care of that football. As I said earlier, you know, when you have 12 plays, obviously, more options for something to go wrong. But they are playing a clean brand of football, just like we bragged so much on Duke that has played so far.
Longest scoring drive of the season for Georgia Tech, 94 yards, and they took almost 6 minutes off the clock. Terry Moore out on the edge near the 30 as we check in with Lauren Jabara.
Wormy, I've just been watching Coach Key down here on the sidelines, and it's really cool to see his coaching demeanor. He's not getting too high, he's not getting too low, but he's just like a consistent factor for this team. And I talked to Hassan Hall about it this week. I said, was it difficult with all of the noise going on over the last 10 days? He said no, and Coach Key was a big part of that. He said the preparation was different. He prepared us mentally and physically to go out and play the game, and he preached the message that they're not just going out and playing, but they really can dig in and win these games against these tough teams. And we're seeing a lot of that today on the field.
Absolutely, Lauren. And there you see the alums who have gone on to play right here where they played their college football. And it was really interesting, wasn't it, when he said, I had 3 days notice to get ready for that Pittsburgh game. And the number one thing I was worried about was organization, having some sort of routine. Otherwise, it could have been chaos. What do they have here on 3rd down and short?
Leonard. Leaping grab at the 45. Jontavis Robertson, and what a delivery on the pass by Riley Leonard, and a first down, 14 yards.
Yeah, nice job. Nice and cool there in the pocket, and a beautifully thrown football. And I like the fact that they get it out there to Jontavis Robertson, who cost them the last time they had the ball with that personal foul penalty. He'll take a breather, but so will his defense a little bit. A defense is a little bit gassed right now as they're able to stay on the field, try to score their first points of this game as we near 6 minutes left in the first half.
From just beyond their own 45-yard line for the Blue Devils. There's some room to run up the middle as Terry Moore saw some daylight. Derek Allen on the tackle, 8 yards on the run for Duke. So now 2nd and short.
What was it that Brent Key told us? He said, I worry about 3 things. Running the ball, stopping the ball, and covering those kicks. They've been able to run it, and so far they've done a pretty good job stopping the run. Special teams play has been fine. Let's see what they've got. 2nd down and short. This is more like it for Kevin Johns now.
Little play fake. Leonard running and just heaves it into his own bench area. Ace Ely putting the pressure up in the grill of Riley Leonard. And James, this is a Duke team that has not been shut out of the first half all season. The fewest amount of points, 13 in the first half in the loss at Kansas.
Well, if Ace Ely has anything to do with it, they'll keep that 0 on the board. There's a look at number 2, the transfer from Maryland here in his senior year, has been phenomenal in every game he's played in his short time here in Atlanta. Leads the ACC in so many categories, but here's a big third down and short now for his defense.
Handoff. Squeezing through is Waters. That appears to be enough for a first down. Well, the sticks have not moved yet, and now the signal given. First down, Duke. 5:23 and rolling for the first-year head coach, Mike Elko. Spent the last 4 years as the defensive coordinator at Texas A&M and saw that program go to 4 bowl games while he was there. Also spent time at Notre Dame and at Wake Forest in the ACC 2014 to 2016 with Dave Clawson. 7th play of the drive for the Blue Devils. Leonard eludes the rush. Thought about throwing on the run and then steps out of bounds just inside the 40. Charlie Thomas made sure he would go no further.
And here's a play you don't see often from Ace Ely. Ace Ely he's great in the open field. He's slapping himself on the helmet a couple times, but he just goes in there like a blind dog in a butcher shop and doesn't come under control. And even, you're not dealing with Jeff Sims back there, but I'm telling you, Riley Leonard will make you miss and he'll make you pay. They could have had a sack there. Instead, it's 2nd down and 5. He's done that so many times here this year.
Sack and a forced fumble for Ely at Pitt last week. Leonard exits the pocket, gets close to the 30, maybe just short of it there. Kyle Kennard on the tackle. 7 yards on the scramble from Leonard. That's a first down for the Blue Devils. Methodical drive, chipping away, going down the field as we go inside of 4 minutes in the second quarter.
And it's funny. You've got Brent Key there, who we've talked about ad nauseum already in one half about being an offensive lineman, chipping away. But the same goes on the other sidelines. There's an old school feel to it so far.
Leonard fenced in, nowhere to go. Kyle Kennard, number 9 in Tech Gold. We're wearing those gold tops today on homecoming, and the Jackets have come to play.
Kennard, a local guy, and does a good job when he sees off of that read the back running his way. He turns the jets back on and runs down Riley Leonard. They do a good job of bottling him up there.
Georgia Tech credited with a sack and a loss of 1 on the play for Duke. On 2nd and 11, Leonard looking sideline. Threw it behind his receiver. Flag is out. And that was Darryl Harding Jr. trying to come back to the football. There's a penalty marker thrown on the play. Walton was in coverage for Georgia Tech.
Was it Harding or was it Waters there? Was Harding? Okay.
An eligible receiver downfield. Offense number 78. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 2nd down.
Yeah. You've got a few yards, but you can't be about 6 or 7 yards down the field. So guys not on the same page. And again, these are the little things. We saw one, the 5-yard penalty there for Georgia Tech when they were rolling last time, and here's a 5-yarder. Mike Elko certainly knows it, going back the wrong way.
Leonard with the time. His arm got hit on the way through as that ball fluttered out and incomplete. Charlie Thomas near Leonard to affect the flight of the football.
Yeah, staring down the barrel of a loaded gun when number 1's got you in his sights. The ACC linebacker of the week for his 1 half of playing time against the Pitt Panthers last weekend. Missed the first half. It was a targeting call carryover, had an interception, a fumble recovery that he returned 43 yards, almost had another forced fumble there. But instead he does force a 3rd down and 16.
Leonard's pass complete at the 30, underneath, and not enough for a first down. 28-yard line. Jordan Moore made the catch. 4th down, Duke. Kari Gee on the tackle for Georgia Tech. Number 23 as Leonard goes to that Duke sideline. Charlie Ham will come on for a field goal attempt. 7 of 11 on the season. His longest this year, a 38-yarder. This will be from 45. And that one sails through. 45-yard field goal from Charlie Ham, and the Blue Devils will not be shut out of the first half. It is 10-3 in Atlanta.
Just the two of us. We can make it if we do.
University football program and instilling some pride into this program, which it had, and it's translated into wins so far this season. We'll talk about Army and Wake. Get a preview of that one coming up later tonight in the highlights and stats from the first half of action as we check in with Lauren.
Thanks so much, Wormy Bates. I know you guys were talking a little bit earlier about Ace Ely, the starting linebacker for Georgia Tech. Well, he's on the field now, but about 4 years ago, he went through some extreme adversity. So after his junior year of high school, he actually was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease, which led him to have a lot of seizures. He was in a coma in the hospital for a week and then had to go to a rehab facility for a few months, learn how to walk again, and then learn how to run again, do all of that. So a year later, he signed with Maryland. They were the team that stuck with him and helped him out through the whole thing. And he said he missed his high school senior year. He redshirted his freshman year at Maryland, but the whole experience has really taught him to play with the passion and love that he has for the game after it was taken from him. And it's an incredible story of beating the odds and showing resiliency, and talking to him on the phone too, guys. Just such an incredible human being. It's really awesome to be able to see him back out on the field 4 years later after he couldn't even walk 4 years ago.
What an amazing story. What an amazing linebacker. I want to meet that teacher who taught him how to walk and run again, because that teacher deserves a medal when you look at what he's doing after going through that and having to relearn just how to function, let alone come out and play at such a high level. He's going to have a long career, Lauren, playing football on Sundays. Both he and his partner there at the linebacker spot, Charlie Thomas, such a great combo, one of the best combinations of linebackers in college football, I would say. You know, and once again, he's first in the ACC in tackles for loss, solo tackles, and forced fumbles. I mean, just a big-time playmaker and a big part of this football team.
Hall got spun down at the 35-yard line. Jalen Stinson with the takedown. That'll be first down yardage. Hassan Hall. So when Georgia Tech last had the football, it went 12 plays, 94 yards for the McCollum touchdown from Jeff Sims. Sims over the middle, tried to thread that one to midfield and almost did so. Luke Benson could not hang on.
Well, what an amazing job by the offensive line. They're trying to run a game up there, and nobody even sniffs Jeff Sims. Luke Benson, you got to hang on to that. The transfer from Syracuse, that's a costly one there. Right there in between the 8 and the 1. Couldn't have been a better spot.
Benson came into the game with 5 catches on the season. Out on the edge, Hall. He gets wrapped up at the 35-yard line. Brandon Johnson, number 30 for Duke. That's just a yard. So the last 2 drives we've seen, Georgia Tech had a 12-play drive. Duke then countered with a 12-play drive, and then the Ham field goal from 45 yards away, his longest of the season.
Nice job there, Tom, by Brandon Johnson. He's fun to watch the way he reacts and just goes up there and makes those plays in open field.
2 for 4 on third down. Sims with the poise, out of the pocket, slides down, took a pop, and there are 4 markers out. That was Hayward who delivered the shot, and now post-whistle, the teams are face mask to face mask. You saw Sims going to the slide, and then the hit by Hayward. Take a listen.
They had a spy on Sims too, and it wasn't Hayward. And Hayward is too good of a player.
Defense number 42. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Shaka Hayward is too good of a player and too good of a leader, and now they're going to miss him because he'll be done for this. But we saw it earlier. When a quarterback gives himself up with his feet, you have to, as a defensive player, you have to pull up. You have to pull up. And I know it's tough, but when he gives those feet up, that's why they mark it back a couple yards. You're not going to lose those yards. And then to still hit him in the head, there's no way this one's coming off. And that's a shame because just as we talked about Ace Ely and Charlie Thomas being great linebackers and so much fun to watch, 42 has been so big for this defense, and he was all over the field, as you mentioned, last week in the win over Virginia, and he was a blast to watch. But they're going to have to do it now without him. And Dorian Mausi is already banged up a little bit. Cam Dillon's had to fill in for him. So they're going to be without their leader in the middle, it looks like, for the rest of this football game.
One of the backup linebackers, Trey Freeman, is out with a lower body injury, so Rocky Shelton or Nick Morris could be potentially replacing Hayward depending on if the targeting foul is upheld. Timothy Hedgepeth is our referee. Brent Key did not know he'd be a first-year head coach, the interim head coach for Georgia Tech, winning last week at Pitt. Mike Elko's team beat Virginia in its first ACC game a week ago in Durham.
After further review, targeting is confirmed. Number 42 is disqualified.
So on top of losing number 42, we also think about the 15 yards. Fortunately, Jeff Sims is okay. But you had a defenseless player, you had a player launching. So that was a pretty easy review. Good call on the field and hoping to keep that drive alive in what was going to be an interesting fourth down, if I'm not mistaken, coming up. But instead, it's a first down back into Duke territory with 1:28 left to play in the first half.
5 penalties for 55 yards against the Blue Devils. McCollum tried to make a fancy move at the 35-yard line. McCollum has the touchdown catch in this quarter from Jeff Sims, who remains in the game after the hit from Hayward, disqualified on the targeting foul.
With 1:15 left, just get me what you can. Move those chains. Don't try to get too fancy. McCollum's been a big part of this first half, that's for sure.
10 of 14 passing for Sims. Too high for the intended receiver. E.J. Jenkins. So Jenkins, the senior from Fredericksburg, Virginia, and a transfer from South Carolina, could not climb the ladder to get to that pass from Sims. James, I referenced it earlier in the ball game. You're not going to find a tougher guy at the quarterback position in the country than number 10.
Or many taller receivers to throw to, 6'7".
Tries it again, down the sideline. The ball came out at the last second. Attempted grab.
Well, Brent Key and everybody in the house wearing the gold and blue wants a flag, and I'm not so sure they shouldn't get one here. Watch this replay. Joshua Pickett is holding on for dear life because he's beaten. He got caught up trying to turn. If we're even, I'm leaving as a receiver. Blackburn was even and then passed him. So Pickett was just trying to live another down and got away with no flag being thrown right there. It's 4th down and short.
Yeah, Blackburn, who had not caught a pass so far this season, has 2 in the game. 104, breaking the action. Time for a message from Wrangler.
It's in all of us. The courage to go all in. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
I'm going to start wearing roller skates or roller blades in the booth if we're going to keep running. It just makes me want to skate.
That's some high-quality H2O right there on the sideline.
That'd be fun.
Bates, high-quality H2O. Come on, man.
Tackling fuel. Yes, sir.
So what have you thought of this game so far, James, with 1:04 to go in the second quarter?
I've really enjoyed it. I've enjoyed it, because it's a little bit of a throwback, making people earn it, very physical. two physical football coaches, tough football coaches, and it's exactly what you'd expect. Just got to cut down on the sloppiness, because you don't want that to be the difference in this one. And be careful here. This situation of 4th and short, watch out for a fake punt.
Shanahan to punt. Samir Hagans is deep. Little rugby-style action, and it goes into the end zone.
So, that doesn't help much. You've got a minute. That was just as I was patting Porter Wilson on the back just a couple minutes ago. Shanahan, you got to give your guys a chance. And I don't know, I understand Brent Key. They feel like they've got the upper hand. It's going to be Duke that'll get the ball to start the second half. But you really have been able to push around this front. If nothing else, maybe just line it up there and see if you can draw them off sides, get a freebie before you come in and punt it away. As you see, a delay of game wouldn't have hurt at all with the way Shanahan's punt went. But now 3 timeouts, and Riley Leonard in this offense, a minute to go. See if they can do anything.
Just 124 yards of total offense. Trying to add a chunk play. Up near midfield, Hagans leaping for that one against Walton. And neither player coming up with a football. Georgia Tech 224 yards of total offense and the 10-3 lead with inside of a minute to go in our second quarter. 90th all-time meeting.
It was a nice play call, and it was a nice throw, and a chance, the only chance for Hagans there to come back on that back shoulder throw, come back and get it. Zamari Walton was right there in his hip pocket. Good coverage.
8 of 13 and 64 yards passing for Leonard. Ground game, Waters, 25-yard line. How about these two programs, James? They started playing in 1933. They've played every year since, but because of the scheduling next year, we're going to dissolve divisional play. They won't meet. So this will end the streak of 90 in a row. We're lucky enough to be here to call it from historic Grant Field at Bobby Dodd Stadium.
And what is it, since like 2017, I believe, one of us has called this game.
That's right.
Back then, I was with Wes a couple times.
Mike Flynn brought that to our attention, the outstanding sports information director here at Georgia Tech.
Mike Elko, knowing that he's going to get this ball to start the second half, he'll use that timeout here with 1 second left. Was it? I guess maybe I wasn't looking at the play clock. I guess that was running down.
Duke will get the second half kickoff. And I think Elko has said that's enough for this first half. They were able to score on a 45-yard field goal by Charlie Ham on a 12-play drive. The Georgia Tech touchdown was through the air. Sims to McCollum, his second career receiving TD for McCollum. Was that an outstanding football game, number 8 in Georgia Tech gold.
Absolutely. And I think that this is a smart way to go about it. For the first time in a while, his defense, or his football team, Mike Elko's, hasn't been as crisp and as clean as they have in some of these games. So, you know what? Let's not mess around and give them a freebie. We're going to get the ball to start the second half. Georgia Tech won the toss and took the ball to open the game. There's plenty of football left to be played here in the second half.
Reset to 3 seconds on the game clock. Moore will carry it for the final play of the second quarter. And Duke finds itself in a place they're not familiar with. They trail Brent Key. And the Yellow Jackets at halftime 10-3. So let's go down to Lauren Jabara with Brent Key. And the interview is brought to you by Ace Hardware. Lauren?
Thanks for me. Appreciate it, Coach. You hold them to 135 total yards.
Scoring. Let's try that again.
Tom, you know what this feels like when we've had this midday game the last few years? This when the shadows start to set over the field here. The second half has always been a blast. So, it's 10-3 now, but anything can happen here in the second half, that's for sure.
Things could go haywire here in Atlanta, so you want to stay with us for what should be an exciting second half of action. Let's check in with Lauren Jabara for our Arby's sideline report.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, I caught up with head coach Mike Calhoun for Duke, or Mike Elko, sorry, Mike Calhoun, what was I saying there? I was talking about a player getting injured, but he said his message to the team after the first half is, hey, guys, we need to stay patient. Right now, we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're getting frustrated. So that's the biggest key here in the second half, is to stay patient and play our best half of football that we played all season. I asked about Shaka Hayward and just the adjustments they need to make on defense. He said, look, it's about that next man up mentality. But speaking of a couple of other injuries, and why I said Calhoun, number 5, their wide receiver, Jalen Calhoun, will be out with an upper body injury the rest of the game. And number 71, their O-lineman, Maurice McIntyre, out the rest of the game with a lower body injury, in addition to Shaka Hayward.
Wow. Thank you, Lauren. A couple big losses. We already mentioned Jalen Coleman ain't able to go here today, an injury. And there you see the first half to today, just 3 compared to the 21 and a half almost points coming into this game with that 4-1 record, and coming off a nice win last Saturday night against the Virginia Cavaliers.
Waters. Several Tech Gold shirts converge on Waters.
Well, and it started with Charlie Thomas. He's out there in a hurry. You know, here's Waters. That's what you're trying to do so many times, is get that matchup. Hey, we've got our back isolated on a linebacker, but that linebacker just happens to be Charlie Thomas, who is as good as it gets in the ACC linebacker of the week, helping to make it a 3rd down and very interesting here on the opening drive of the second half for the Blue Devils.
3 of 7 on 3rd down of the game for Duke. Cluttered pocket. Leonard stumbles, and he's going down at the 25. Kari Gee for Georgia Tech.
Wow, they bring the blitz, and it gets there enough to flush Leonard. And Leonard thinks he's got a little bit of space to go, but he didn't anticipate Gee just sitting there in a spy type of role. Perhaps a coverage on the back. He slips out and makes a nice open field tackle. They get off the field. A huge stop for the Jackets.
Wilson the punt to McCollum. Fielded at the 20. Spins away from the first wave on special teams and up near the 30. 54 yards on that punt by Wilson, and the return by McCollum. So Georgia Tech will start from its own 29 here in the second half from Atlanta.
Georgia Drive Chevy. Z-Max Micro Lubricant. Extend engine life. Increase fuel mileage. Available at AutoZone. And Green Machine. Available exclusively online at HomeDepot.com.
Those are some pretty banners there for homecoming, but why didn't they show the mean ones that were saying things like Dookie and stuff like that? Fraternity's doing it up here on homecoming. Welcome back to Midtown Atlanta. We've got a good one for you on the field between Georgia Tech and Duke.
Jackets first possession, second half. High percentage play over the middle and complete. E.J. Jenkins. One play and a first down.
Well, finally they get it to the big man, number 0. A look at the first half possessions there. Bottom of your screen by Coach Brent Key. There you see the field goal and the McCollum touchdown, the only touchdown of the game by either team in the first half.
That was an 18-yard pass play for the score. Hall trying to follow his blockers, batters his way to the Duke side of the 50. Ball came out late. Play was already complete. First down at the 45 of Duke. Hall on the run.
Look at the big guys getting up and pulling, leading the show. Boom, knocking guys down. And then Hassan Hall, 6 foot 196. I mean, Pitt found out the hard way last week. How good has Pitt been against the run here in recent years? But Hassan Hall and Georgia Tech did a great job on the ground against him.
13 yards, previous play. McCollum stoking the fires. Far side, out of bounds. And he's down near the 37-yard line. Darius Joyner on the stop for Duke, and coming off. Little hitch in the giddy up there for McCollum. 8 yards on the play for number 8. He'll go to the sideline.
He just He's fine, especially on that sideline. You know, Brent Key told him to rub some dirt in it, and he's doing it all for him. Nice job on that last play by the tight end, Dylan Leonard. Really drive his guy over to the sidelines and create some space.
Sims, deep, end zone. Touchdown, Georgia Tech. Leo Blackburn on the business end of the 37-yard toss from Jeff Sims.
Got those gold jerseys popping over there because it's gold for the money today, baby. And that was a money ball right there dropped in by Jeff Sims. We've seen the damage on the ground with his legs, and it doesn't get any prettier than that throw right there. Wow.
Second TD pass of the game for Jeff Sims. He had one of 18 yards in the second quarter. This one, Bates, is 37 yards.
Yeah, how about it? Great coverage, but an even better throw. Blackburn singing in the dead of night. Somebody get him the ball. He's going to fly. 17-3.
Chevy Silverado. It's got the power you want. And
Georgia Tech sidelines celebrating, and what a moment for the redshirt freshman from Atlanta, Georgia, Leo Blackburn. 37 yards from Jeff Sims.
Protection, little bit of pressure there late down low, but look at the coverage. I mean, it's absolutely great coverage. You couldn't ask for any more, and that ball just dropped in there. Daquan Young was the cornerback there, running stride for stride, the transfer from Iowa State.
James, our 5-star drive summary is brought to you by Yellowwood. You know how that goes.
Yeah, believe me, if it doesn't have the yellow jersey on, shoot, you don't want it. There you go, just 4 plays, and the big play was 37-yarder. Right there, connecting Jeff Sims to Leo Blackburn for that touchdown.
Sims on the drive, James, 3 of 3, 58 yards through the air, his second TD pass of the game, and he's up to 5 for the season. And Blackburn, remember, did not have a catch coming into this game. He's got 3 for 49 yards and the score.
You know, there were a couple moments in that Kansas game, traveling to Lawrence, Kansas, where KU was trying to pull away, and Duke refused to let him, and made it a very interesting finish. This will be an interesting drive right here for the Blue Devils as they come back out. Went 3 and out, their first chance at it in the second half. And the special teams unit of the Yellow Jackets running down to the student section after that kick goes through the end zone, trying to get them fired up here on homecoming.
Blue Devils won their first 3 games of the season. That included a win at Northwestern on September 10th, 31-23. Only loss at Kansas so far this year, trailing 17-3 early third. Moore in the back. Gets the call. Alternate route. Just about to the 30-yard line for Jaquez Moore, the sophomore from Live Oak, Florida. Zeke Biggers is number 88, the sophomore from Salisbury, North Carolina, on the stop.
You know, the penetration, this is a defense that almost 8 tackles for loss a game, and they disrupt offenses by getting back there. And a good job by Moore to get some yardage out of that one, and here's some more. That was close. Wow, just getting tripped up. And Jaquez Moore, you can tell how hungry he's been. Waiting to get his chance. Jordan Moore, the former quarterback, now receiver with a good block on that one, blocking down the field. Robertson as well. Moore will get a breather. But a fresh set of downs at midfield for this offense. Finally, a little bit of success, a little bit of light on the ground running the football.
Leonard through the progression. Lets it go. Receiver went down. Flag comes out. Jordan Moore was the receiver. Miles Sims, number 0 for Georgia Tech, defending.
Holding. Defense. 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Timothy Hedgepeth is our referee. this afternoon and now into the evening. Almost 6 o'clock on the East Coast here in Atlanta, James.
Calling it on 7, I guess there. Is that who it was? I thought it was on Miles Sims, but not sure. Holding nonetheless. A 10-yard penalty to help him to keep it moving.
4 penalties for 40 yards against the Yellow Jackets. Leonard with the time, steps into the throw down the middle of the field, just too far for the outstretched Jordan Moore, and Leonard knows he misfired on that one. Let him just a little too much.
Yeah, and that's his guy, too. Such a great relationship, these two. It was a quarterback battle when they first met, but the best of friends. And he knows that his buddy's going to make the play for him, but he's got to help him out a little bit right there. And there haven't been, with both defenses, there haven't been many receivers that have been let to run free with that much space here in this game. That was a huge opportunity. You're right. Riley Leonard would love to have it back. It's 2nd and 10.
And just 63 yards passing in the game for Leonard, who hands off to Waters. That's a short gain inside the 35-yard line. If you look at Leonard's numbers, James, he's averaging 235 yards passing, 7th in the conference. He's gone over 300 yards twice. His accuracy at 72% is the best in the conference. He's just 9 for 15.
Yeah, and that's the thing. His accuracy. Best in the league, one of the best in the nation at 73%, but he's been off a couple times here. They got to stay alive with the 3rd and 5 now, though.
3 for 8 on 3rd down, Duke. Trying to shuffle his way to the 30, doesn't quite get there. Jordan Waters. He's dragged down and it's 4th and short. Waters on the run got 3.
They got the offense out there. They're going to keep him out there with a 4th down and 3 right here. Defensively, this was something Georgia Tech struggled with early, jumping off sides. They've corrected it here the last couple weeks. Do not give them a free 1st down right here. Hold your water. Big 4th down coming.
Complete for the 1st down. Robertson down to the 10. How about that 4th down conversion for the Blue Devils? Now 7 of 10 on 4th down for the season. That one to Robertson.
And Wormy, just as we start talking about, hey, what's going on? Riley Leonard, he's missed a couple throws here. He gets back to being the Riley Leonard that we've seen in these first 5 games. Cool and calm. The pocket is starting to collapse around him. He's got that confidence to stay in there. They pick up the blitz, and he's able to hit his guy Robertson, who has that inside angle. And that's an easy throw and catch for a quarterback to a receiver. You got to defend it better on the inside like that.
Inside the CPI security red zone, and not a lot there for Jaquez Moore, who circled back. Clayton Powell-Lee on the tackle. That was only a yard inside the CPI security red zone.
Powell-Lee, they call him the young vet, just a freshman from right here in Atlanta, but Jalen King is out with an injury. Got hurt against Pittsburgh.
Duke was 5 for 5 in the red zone last week against Virginia. 4 TDs and a field goal. 0 for 1 today in the red zone. Leonard. Ball was bouncing around. Might have been deflected there. Sylvain Yunjuan, number 32, in Riley Leonard's vicinity.
32 is fun to watch. Watch him right there, the right side of your screen, just fighting and fighting and fighting. He has to fight to get his arms free because he's being held up right there. Does everything he can just to muscle his way out of there so he can bat that football down. And Riley Leonard had second thoughts, almost tried to tuck it back in. It's lucky it fell incomplete.
3rd and goal. Leonard moves to his right, throws it inside the 5, and it's intercepted. K.J. Wallace with the pick for the Yellow Jackets.
Wow, the pressure's going to get to Leonard. A little bit of hold even in there, too, on the run, and he just tries to force it in there, and everybody in that secondary has their receiver locked down, especially the nickelback, K.J. Wallace, right there on the inside, sneaks inside and aggressively goes and gets that football and puts it back in the hands of the Yellow Jackets. What a huge stand for this defense and their defensive coordinator, Andrew Thacker, who's been coaching them up here as of late.
That pass complete. McCollum out past the 15. That should be first down yardage. Here's our Discover the Best, brought to you by the Fresh Market, James.
There you go, E.J. Jenkins, Hassan Hall on that last drive. Nate McCollum spreading it around a little bit. And, of course, that 37-yard touchdown reception for Blackburn. So Duke has not turned the football over very many times this season. Only 2 interceptions against Kansas a couple weeks ago in the loss. Here's an interception, and it's a team that not only do they not turn it over, but they force a lot of turnovers. Number 1 in the ACC in turnover margin. So they'd like to get a little payback here and find a way to get that football back by forcing a turnover.
Incomplete pass from Sims to King. The interception, James, the 7th of the season for Georgia Tech. Compare that to last year when they only had 3. And that'll leave the Duke coach scratching his chin, unable to come up with points in the red zone after such success against Virginia a week ago. 3rd down, Georgia Tech.
Got to account for number 10 in this situation, especially when they go empty right here.
12 takeaways now for Georgia Tech as well, James. That leads the conference. Sims, flag is thrown. That was Hall trying to battle up past the 25-yard line. Timothy Hedgepeth, our referee.
Legal formation, more than 4 players in the backfield. Offense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
Oh, that was going to be a first down thanks to the legs and the desire of Hassan Hall. And at 1, 2, 3, and you're helping him out. Going back the other way. Now it's 3rd down and 10. You were going to have a fresh set of downs, moving those chains and moving up the field.
Pressure on Sims, got it away. Hall got popped. Hall got hit by Joyner.
Yeah, and Tom, Darius Joyner is the only guy anywhere close in a white jersey. I mean, it was a jailbreak. They brought everybody right there, nice and calm. Jeff Sims just dumps it off. Little screen pass. Look at all those yellow jerseys. Fantastic job by Darius Joyner to just go react and make that play before anybody could line him up and try to block him, because those were some big bodies trying to make a wall. And a nice stand with a little help of a penalty for that Duke defense.
Shanahan punts out of the lone sliver of sunshine still on the field. Hagans into Georgia Tech territory. Weaves his way inside the 40. Samir Hagans on the return, and Duke will have outstanding field position. Tatum on the tackle, special teams for Georgia Tech. Duke has the football when we come back. Georgia Tech has the lead.
Just the 2 of us.
Oh, yeah, it's time for a little Wrangler Built Tough. And who else are we going to use but Brent Key right here. He's built tough. It's brought to you by Wrangler, the right guard, number 70. There he is, highlighted in his playing days. Blocking for Joe Hamilton. Some pretty good teams back there in the late 90s. Again, down near the goal line. And that, of course, is why you got a guy calling for body blows, because he loves being physical and running that football just like his head coach back then did. And George O'Leary, he told us just the other day, he said, you know, other than being right here, before I came back to Atlanta, I coached for 2 guys, Nick Saban and George O'Leary. And the first thing that comes to mind with both of those guys is toughness after that great tough career. And there's a look at that great quarterback for Georgia Tech in the late 90s, Joe Hamilton. Used to be fun times here on the flats when he was running the show. Number 14 and number 70 blocking for him. And number 70, Brent Key, now the head coach at his alma mater, is trying to get back-to-back wins here for his Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket program as an interim head coach. But Duke with outstanding field position to start this drive here in the third quarter.
From the 38 of Georgia Tech, late in the third, Waters get about 3 to the 35-yard line. Blue Devils trying to get their first win in this series at Georgia Tech since 2018. It was a win in October as well. Here in Atlanta, 28-14, 21 points off of 3 Georgia Tech turnovers. They've lost 2 in a row, but they have won 3 of the last 5. 46th meeting in Atlanta between the programs. Second and long for Duke. Looking left all the way. Waters couldn't get past the first man. Waters taking down K.J. Wallace. He had the interception on the last drive where Duke was threatening inside the red zone. Charlie Thomas is down for Georgia Tech. That would be 1 and goal. That's Walton. Correction, 7. Zamari Walton. So Walton down in that Georgia Tech secondary. And the training staff will attend to Walton, junior from Melbourne, Florida. So while we have a second here, 17-3, 4:30 to go, we remind you that coming up next, it's the fourth right here. Stick around after the third quarter. Usually it's the fourth, James, right? Brought to you by CPI Security. And it always stars James Bates, national champion from Florida in 1996. Lauren Jabbar is on the sidelines as well as they attend to Walton and our outstanding ACC football production crew with you from Atlanta. Good to see Walton helped up.
That is good. And speaking of doing math and the like, you know, it was funny in sitting down with Brent Key in his office yesterday. He said, you know, I came here thinking that I wanted to be an engineer, as do most when they come to Georgia Tech. But he said, but I found out in a hurry that being an engineer didn't mean driving a train.
That's right.
And so he had to change his major to management. And George O'Leary actually insisted. Hey, Lauren, he didn't have a choice in changing that major, did he?
Guys, Brent Key yesterday was talking about one of my favorite stories is before the game, you know, he was walking around the field and one of the refs handed him a whistle and he's like, look, I'm used to like getting the O-line ready. I'm used to talking to my guys, and he's walking around and he's like, what am I doing right now? And the guy, one of his assistant coaches looks at him and goes, man, just go be a head coach. You could do this right now. But it's funny because he's learning how to, you know, take on this new role in that head coach responsibility.
Yeah, absolutely. It was Chris Winkie actually who told him to go do that. A great football mind on the staff and a great play there by his opponent here today. And Mike Elko, what a huge pickup on 3rd down and 10 there, Lauren, to stretch it out and to move those chains, keep this drive alive after being gifted with that field position. They've got to start finding some points now.
Big time pickup on 3rd down for Duke. They're going to hand it off. Terry Moore inside the 25-yard line. I mean, you have to imagine that Brent Key's head was just spinning. There's been changes here at Georgia Tech, and what they did last week, a monumental victory on the road. What they're doing this week, leading Mike Elko's team 17-3, trying to extend the winning streak in the series to 3. Long way to go here, folks. Last year in Durham, it went right down to the wire, and Georgia Tech scored a late touchdown pass to win that game in Durham against the Blue Devils.
Yeah, 31-27 the final then.
Through the first line of defense, inside the 15 for Moore.
Nice job, Terry Moore, the patience. Let his big man lead the way. and the ability to cut off of it. There you see Chance Lytle getting up and moving and taking on that backer and then just cutting right off of that and turning on the burst. So it's been no Jalen Coleman again today, who was a game-time decision, but he can't go. And Jordan Waters, because there's another injured Yellow Jacket, looked like Makia Scott, but it's Waters and the two more guys, Jaquez Moore and Terry Moore.
Back into the red zone for Duke. Leonard tried to fit that one in to Robertson. And the ball was jarred loose. Charlie Thomas defensively, the senior from Thomasville, Georgia.
Just a football player right there, Tom. I mean, he's just reacting. You know, it's one thing to read it. You're going to see down here at the bottom, and you know, he's got his guy covered. Let me take a peek back in the backfield, and he sees Riley Leonard looking down and what they're trying to do to him. He goes there and gets involved. So here comes forcing another third down. Second down and 10, rather.
And so now third down, James. Down at the 10-yard line. They'll mark it officially at the 11. Remember last time they were down this deep, KJ Wallace anticipated the pass of Riley Leonard, who threw his third pick of the year. 4 of 11 on third down for Duke. Here we go, Bates.
Six guys are walked up, and they'll bring them all.
Leonard, end zone. Incomplete. Eli Pankole tried to go up and get it. Couldn't get around the defender. Keenan Johnson back there in the end zone with Pankole. 24.
24, Bennett as well, and just giving him absolutely nowhere. And Pankole, one thing he's got to do is he's got to line up pre-snap. He's got to give his quarterback a little bit of cushion where he has a route to run. Good job by the defender, just making sure he used that boundary to his advantage as an extra defender. Nowhere to move. And another good stand.
28 yards away, Ham. Ham is money for the second time of the game. A 45-yarder in the second quarter. And this one was 28 yards. And now 17-6, 1:31 to go in the third. Let's get a message from Green Machine.
With our 62-volt battery-powered blower in your hands, you are a machine. So power the machine with Green Machine. Available online at HomeDepot.com.
Ham is money. I like that one. I just picture some guy. When I was your age, we didn't have money. We used ham. And a honey glazed spiral ham was worth a lot more than a country ham.
Ham has provided the scoring currency so far for Duke.
Although I did have some good country ham and some red-eye gravy at the Silver Skillet right up the road, right near Georgia Tech this morning.
Yeah, right near our hotel. Thanking all of the Georgia Tech folks for hosting our outstanding ACC football production crew this weekend here in Atlanta.
Yeah, so I saw Scooter going to Silver Skillet. I think he got quinoa.
Scott Snyder, our producer.
Quinoa smoothie.
9 plays, just about 4 minutes, capped by the field goal from Ham from 28 yards away. Here we are, 17-6. 1:31 to go in the third. If I told Georgia Tech 3 weeks ago, James, that you'd be right in the thick of the Coastal race, how would they look at me?
You know, maybe like some of those dogs where they cock their head to the side and not so sure, but...
Oh, they're sure now.
Yeah. Well, they're feeling pretty good about themselves right now, and especially the way that defense is playing. Not just the offense, but the way the defense is just tightening up when they get down in that red zone. It's been incredible.
That's Sims. Right at the 30-yard line. That's 5 yards for Sims on the carry. James, you're talking about the defense. Duke has 126 rushing yards. There is a player down. It's Jalen Stinson. Duke ran for 248 yards last week, but not against Brent Key and Andrew Thacker in the defensive unit. 48 attempts against Virginia. Both of those numbers, the most this season for Mike Elko. The 248 on the ground and the 48 carries. Strangely enough, in every game prior to last week, they had 35 carries exactly for the rushing game for Duke. Good to see Stinson making his way to the sideline.
Yeah, but it's already a Duke team that's taking their hits, and you know, that next man up mentality that Mike Elko was telling Lauren Jabara about at halftime. They, of course, without Shaka Hayward, the end of that first half and into the second for a targeting call.
McCollum. Seven catches for McCollum. He got 9 yards on that play and a first down.
You know, Chip Long has a pretty good one in Nate McCollum. He can do a little bit of everything. Go that deep ball, has good hands deep, with good speed, and very tough. When he gets the ball in his hands on these shorts and these jet sweeps, he's incredible too.
Hall trying to turn the corner, put the shoulder down. Big time collision there, short of the 45. Hassan Hall and Daquan Johnson. 4 hard-earned yards for Hassan Hall, the senior from right here in Atlanta, Georgia. He's a transfer from Louisville.
Yeah, Brent Key says, give me 4 yards all day long. I will certainly take that, but just don't go
for watching the fourth. The Yellow Jackets lead it as we gear up for the fourth quarter from Bobby Dodd Stadium. Jeff Sims at the controls. Sims, 16 of 23, 170 yards passing. This is Hall.
Hassan Hall, the ball carrier.
Georgia Tech now, James, 329 yards of total offense. That is above their season average, which was last in the ACC, 313 yards. How is it possible, James? You dismiss the head coach, you name an interim coach, and the situation is completely galvanized for the following 2 weeks. We still have some time to go here in the fourth, obviously, but it's been impressive by Georgia Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. Here's a big third down, though. Duke trying to get off the field. Wow. All Jeff Sims right there. Put it in the big man's hands. Just falling forward. He's going to get you a couple more yards. Nice blocking in there for him as well. Looked like his center, Weston Franklin, the sophomore out of Jessup, Georgia, leading the way. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech.
12 carries, 82 yards for Sims. Deep drop, throws it with touch and finesse, and complete it to 25. Ryan King escorted out of bounds. Sims to King.
There's miscommunication in this secondary. You've got 2 guys running deep with E.J. Jenkins, and absolutely no one down underneath left for King. Back-to-back first downs for the Yellow Jackets, and now knocking on the door of the red zone.
25 yards on the pass connection. Sims design run. Right side all the way. Turns the corner and just kind of floats out of bounds like a cool breeze. 2 yards. Nick Morrison, he was able to guide Sims out of bounds. Morrison for Hayward. If you're just joining us here in the fourth, Shaka Hayward targeting foul in the first half, unavailable in the second half. He's one of the leaders of that Duke defense and trailing 17-6. Hall.
Not much there for Hall, was there? Dwayne Carter leading the charge there, and it seems like they've had so much success. When they haven't had success, big number 90's been a big reason. They're clogging up the middle, so forcing one more third down. One more chance to get a stop, and going empty once again on third down. Here's Hassan Hall, who will join Sims in the backfield.
3 of 7 on third. This is at the 15, spinning away Leonard. Inside the 10. First down, Georgia Tech. First and goal at the 8. 14 yards to Leonard.
It's like a well-oiled machine so many times here, and you've got backers on the inside worried that they're going to get burnt by the legs of Jeff Sims, getting there late to their spots in the zone and just picking them apart. And the Jackets already up 11, trying to add to it right here.
2 for 2 in the red zone. Hall catches the pass down to the 6. Georgia Tech was 6 of 7 in the red zone at Pitt last week. 2 yards for Hall.
Oh, Mike Elko, his defensive coordinator, Rob Smith, has done a fantastic job here so far this year. And that's where he's hung his hat over the years on that defensive side of the ball and unable to stop this good-looking offense.
11th play of the drive into the end zone and incomplete. There were a couple receivers in the area. Blackburn might have been the closest there in the end zone. He's got a touchdown catch of 37 yards. That in the third quarter from Jeff Sims, who has 2 touchdown passes and 5 for the year.
They finally put him on the run there. Jeff Sims, take care of this football right here. Get 3 points at the very least. This is an offense in Duke that has not been able to move the football the entire game. Don't give it up to him.
3rd and goal. Sims is pressured. Got it away. Incomplete. There is a flag thrown at the tail end of the play.
That's coming out of the secondary as well.
Sims threw it at McCollum on 3rd down. He was running for his life as well.
There is no foul for offensive pass interference. It's 4th down.
Little bit of a pick play there, and you know, and why they're saying that is because they're treating Jeff Sims as a runner in that situation once he was going and picking it up. So forcing a field goal try. So a small victory for this Duke defense here.
Gavin Stewart combined last week with this week, and he's 6 for 6. 3 more for Brent Key. And the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets in front of Duke, 20-6.
Right now, Atlanta is seeing murders on the rise.
Back at Bobby Dodd Stadium, Georgia Tech up 14, and we have royalty in the building today. Our Max Performance brought to you by Z Max. Yes, that is Chris Winkie. We cannot forget about the incredible career that he had at Florida State. He was the oldest Heisman Trophy winner at 28 years old. He also won the national championship game at Florida State, and now he's in the building here at Bobby Dodd Stadium serving as Georgia Tech's quarterback coach. So pretty incredible to have him in the building today. Quite a homecoming for Georgia Tech right now, and an awesome welcoming for Chris Winkie into that coaching staff this year, guys.
Yeah, Brent Key was speaking so highly of him yesterday. Such an important part of this football coaching staff. And yeah, he was 25 years old when he first got to Florida State. And after a baseball career, thought he wanted to play professional baseball, and finally decided to give that up and go play football. And well, a pretty good decision. Went 32-3 as a starter for the Seminoles. And Brent Key was giving us a story yesterday how when all of the all-ACC players were being honored here in downtown Atlanta, Winkie was able to go over and order his own beer, and they were all like, well, wait a minute, we're not old enough to drink yet, are we?
Robertson, 20-yard line. Winkie was at Tennessee as an assistant the last few years. Played for the Carolina Panthers and the San Francisco 49ers in his professional career.
If I'm not mistaken, he had some ties with some high school programs like IMG down there in Florida. And so, you know, that's so valuable for so many reasons, not just because he's he's won a Heisman, but, I mean, a guy who's been through so much and has coached at all levels and has been at all levels can add so much to a program, and Brent Key certainly knows that, what he has in Chris Winkie.
Riley Leonard. Open field tackle on Dalmolin. Sims.
And again, Andrew Thacker's defense is just outside. They've been very physical, nice, strong, long bodies. That's a transfer from Michigan, and Miles Sims just going and making plays outside.
Leonard comes to the near side to Waters. Stiff arm. Maybe earned him an extra yard. 27-yard line. Keenan Johnson on the play. Waters slow to get up. Junior from Fairmont, North Carolina. Jordan Waters had a rushing touchdown last week against Virginia. He went airborne over the top of the pile in short yardage. They'll check on the condition of Jordan Waters.
CMAX presents The Cycle of Savings. It all starts with a proprietary formula that is scientifically proven to soak into engine metal.
ACC football is brought to you by your local Ford dealer. The Works Nitro, available at worksnitro.com. And Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Now, I'm not a botanist, but I think that was a Goliath grouper. Those look like some jacks maybe swimming around. Please don't tap on your TV screen. Welcome back, everybody. 14-point lead for the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Look at Riley Leonard, the sophomore quarterback of these Duke Blue Devils, just lost Jordan Waters, his running back, to an injury. They helped him off of the field. And now a third down and about 3 yards, and a huge play right here. Duke has got to get something going. Under 10 minutes to go. Have yet to find the end zone here today. And Georgia Tech just been feasting, kind of like some of those sharks over at the Georgia Aquarium. Let's see what they got here from Andrew Thacker on 3rd and short.
The 99 yards passing, well below his season average, has to create that pass behind the intended receiver. Trying to adjust to the football was Jordan Moore. Miles Sims defensively, 4th down.
They had a chance to connect earlier. Leonard overthrew him in the end zone. This time, Jordan Moore slips coming out of his break. Otherwise, it's going to be an easy pitch and catch. The chains will move, but instead, a big old break for the Yellow Jackets as the favorite target of Leonard slips down and forced to punt it away with 9:43 left to go.
How about the Georgia Tech defense? 3 sacks, 5 tackles for loss, an interception, and 2 pass breakups. McCollum, fair catch at the 22-yard line. Georgia Tech has the football with 9:36 to go in the 4th, and the Yellow Jackets lead the Blue Devils 20-6.
No matter
what. Is brought to you by Green Machine.
3rd down conversions. There you see the 4 of 13 for Riley Leonard in this offense. And unable to stay on the football field. And there was a huge one that they just missed right there. An opportunity on 3rd down and short. Intended target slipping down, coming out of his break. So Riley Leonard, 14 of 25, 99 yards. And that 1 interception, a huge pick right down near the goal line by K.J. Wallace, the transfer from Notre Dame. And here you go. Ball back in the hands of Jeff Sims in this offense.
Unfamiliar territory for Duke. They have not trailed in any game this season except the loss at Kansas until today.
Look at this set. Looking to do some damage on the ground here and chew up that clock. Different plans, though, for that Blue Devil defense.
Hassan Hall, the ball carrier. Dwayne Carter with the tackle for the Blue Devils.
Once again, Tom, if they're to stop anything on the ground, it seems like it's always been either Jamion Franklin or Dwayne Carter. Dwayne Carter getting over there that time and just bringing the wood to Hassan Hall. Short game.
About to cross the 9-minute threshold of the fourth quarter. Once again, that Duke defense on top of Hall, pulling him to the turf.
A couple Notre Dame transfers making some big plays in this game. That time it was Franklin again, transferred from Notre Dame, who actually he was coached by Mike Elko for a short time there at Notre Dame in South Bend before transferring back. Back-to-back good plays by that defensive front that's had their hands full with this young Georgia Tech offensive line that's really grown up when they needed it most here today. Third down.
4 of 9 on third down. Coming back to the football to make the catch. That was Ryan King. Now the spot of the football is up near the 33, and that's about where he needed to get. The chains have not moved yet. And
there they go. They've changed.
They're moving now.
Yes, sir. King up top again, breaking that route off right there and catches it right there at the stick. And again, good coverage, but you've got the big body, 6'3", 220-pound plus of Ryan King. Who had the big catch just moments ago, and there's another big one. Keep this drive alive.
Watch out on the edge. King got bent in half as Young came up. Hit him at the waist. Loss of 4.
Young, excellent job. Hey, don't dance around with that guy trying to block you. Just alert to it and go make a play. That time he almost broke up the completion, but instead just drops him for a loss of 4. Nice play on the edge again. We've seen some good cornerback play here today, some physical play.
Ball pulled down short of the 30.
You know, and Brent Key and Chip Long, this offense at Georgia Tech, just sticking to that ground game, as they absolutely should. Just precious seconds ticking away. Duke still with 3 timeouts, but have yet to find the end zone here today. And again, don't force anything. You're fine punting this ball away. Give them a long way to go and a short time to get there. Empty set. Duke's got to be alert of the damage of Jeff Sims.
Flag is out. That was Rutherford, and Dwayne Carter came back to tackle him. There is a penalty marker.
Personal foul, face mask, offense, penalty is declined. It's 4 count.
See if we can find it there, and that's a pretty easy one out in the open. Luke Benson hanging on to the face mask of Brandon Johnson. They don't want to replay that down. They want to kick this one away, try to get something going on offense. So a nice job there by Mike Elko's defense to get off the football field and to finally go blow for blow in the trenches against that run, which hasn't always been the case here in this football game.
David Shanahan from Castle Island, Ireland, drives Higgins back inside his own 20. Higgins lane up the right side. Higgins across midfield. Still running down the sideline. Higgins, and he goes all the way to the end zone. Samir Higgins for the Blue Devils. Bates, the punt was 52 yards from Shanahan. The return was better. 81 yards to the end zone, Higgins.
It was a boomer from Shanahan. Duke unable to find the end zone for almost 4 quarters of play, so they leave it up to the third phase, the special teams. Brent Key preached to his guys all week. I want 3 things. I want to run the football, I want to stop the run, and I want to cover kicks. That third box didn't get checked right there, and it cost them. It's a whole new ball game. Wow. Nice kick. Higgins has to backpedal to get it. And then he opens those eyes and he sees all those shiny blue helmets leading the way. Outstanding job by his guys running the train down to the end zone. And just like that, it's 20-13.
Hey. Welcomes the Black Knights to Winston-Salem. Non-conference battle with Army. Last Saturday in Tallahassee, QB Sam Hartman leading the Demon Deacons to the 10-point win over Florida State. Tonight, they strive for 5. Win number 5 for Dave Clawson. It's number 15 Wake Forest hosting Army. 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Check your local listings for the game and time in your area. Wow, our game just turned on a Samir Hagens 81-yard punt return for Duke. And all of a sudden, this is a 7-point game, just under 6 minutes to go.
Yeah, so many times on special teams, if there's a big play, it's because you've got guys freelancing, getting out of their lanes. Hey, we're having fun on defense. We're getting after it. I want to be a part of it, so I'm going to cave in a little bit here and try to go get in on this tackle. But you've got to be disciplined, and you've got to play assignment football. All 11 guys doing their job. And that wasn't the case right there. You had all 11 guys trying to take it to the house for the Duke Blue Devils. A nice job of building that wall and running it in there. And how about the redshirt freshman from Philly, Samir Hagens, 81-yard punt return for a touchdown.
It took until late in the fourth, but Duke finally into the end zone. And the kick is covered well. Hassan Hall. Let's get a message from Works Nitro.
Meet Works Nitro. Powerful tools for any project with gas-like power without the gas. Fueled by PowerShare batteries to give you the power to outperform.
20-13. The punt return by Hagens, 81 yards. It is the first punt return for a TD since 2014 for Duke. That was Jamison Crowder, 68 yards against Arizona State. Hagens picked quite a time to do it. Receiver chopped down after what appears to be first down yardage out near the 30-yard line and shaken up. Joyner made the hit.
Needless to say, Chip Long, offensive coordinator of Georgia Tech, has to change the lens in which he's looking at this through.
That's McCollum, James, who's had an outstanding game, right?
Well, and I mean, how many guys put that ball on the turf? He's tough as can be, holding on to the football. It's a first down. Let's just hope that he's okay.
How about 8 catches for 88 yards and a touchdown? That was in the second quarter from Jeff Sims of 18 yards. McCollum has been a difference maker in this game for Georgia Tech. Sophomore, McDonough, Georgia.
And hopefully he just got the wind knocked out of him. Certainly could see that happening a whole lot more after the hit he took right there. They'll give him a hand, as they should. Standing up in the student section even. Well, that's good to see him jog it off. So Brent Key, Chip Long, hey, we did all right, just eating up that clock a little bit, but after that touchdown return, it's a whole new ball game and a new way of looking at it. You got to be a little bit more aggressive. Make sure you stay out there.
Georgia Tech trying to snap a 3-game losing streak on homecoming. Dwayne Carter is a one-man roadblock, joined by Franklin on the front line. I mean, Carter is playing possessed right here in the second half. He's in on almost every play along that trench, James.
Yeah, and they don't just call him Mr. Duke for what he does there in the middle of that defense. He is Mr. Duke around campus, involved in just about every activity and student group that he can be. And it comes from a great bloodline. His dad was a football player at Ohio State. His godfather is Eddie George.
Sims pulled down around the waist by Franklin, the senior from Ridgely, Maryland, and now it's third down. By the way, Carter, James, with 9 tackles today. As you look at Jeff Sims, This young man has overcome a lot. He's seen a lot of 90 as well in the second half, too.
Yeah, and that's rare to see a guy that's on that defensive line, in the middle of it, no less, that's with almost double-digit tackles. A lot of times they're just eating up bodies of that offensive line and letting those backers run free. Remember, no more Shaka Hayward out there to defend on this big third down. Here comes the blitz.
They get to Sims. He fights it off. Sims got the ball away and incomplete into his own bench area. And he was being chased by Joyner, who pulled him down. And the Blue Devils hold on third down. It is fourth, and the punting unit is coming on for Georgia Tech. And look at Coach Elko on that sideline.
Excellent job of timing this one up. The initial wave there, 43. Getting through there is Rocky Shelton, the linebacker from the 954 Fort Lauderdale. Can't quite drop him. But the second wave, Darius Joyner has made some huge plays here in this second half. They'll have a chance to get the ball back now with plenty of time.
Shanahan. Higgins loading it up with a return. Middle of the field. Bounces off a couple of bodies at the 25. Midfield, Georgia Tech side of the 50. Samir Higgins ran back the last one, 81 yards for the score. After a 50-yard punt, Higgins returns this one, 40 yards, James.
Wow, this time he comes the other way towards this Georgia Tech sidelines, dancing around. Guys got to wrap up. They got to come under control. You can't just go back there wild. And able to drop him this time, but the damage is done as Riley Leonard in the offense trots back out there and will start at the Georgia Tech 44-yard line. Hey, partner, what did I tell you coming out of halftime? I said the nighttime is the right time. When that sun goes down and we get in the shadows here, we've had some good ones here at Georgia Tech, and this is going to end up being one of those, but going the wrong way is Duke. They'll start with a first down and 15, not the way you want to start that drive.
Number 55, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Let's check in with Lauren on the sidelines.
Batesy, Wormy, I was standing on the Duke sideline for the last 5-10 minutes or so when that punt return happened, and it was incredible to see how their bench erupted. For like 4 or 5 minutes, they were completely silent. Nobody was talking, and all of a sudden, it like regenerated them as a team. And standing there after, guys, for the next 3-4 minutes, this team is hungry and they want it right now.
Game of momentum, and they've got it right now. There's a nice pickup on first down, and you know it's funny. Jabara, just looking for something good to happen. You lose your emotional leader there in the middle of that defense in Shaka Hayward. You're unable to really get anything going with a guy that you have so much confidence in, and justifiably so, in Riley Leonard. And finally, they got a little bit of that juice back on the side of the Duke Blue Devils right now. But still, this defense has been so tough. Easier said than done.
Leonard in a cluttered pocket floats it up. And a diving attempt by Pankhole. Couldn't get there. Walton trying to hang with Pankhole in the secondary. Are we headed, James, to another dramatic finish in this series? Remember last year in Durham, with 51 seconds to go, Jeff Sims threw the winning touchdown pass.
Yep,
here we are again, exactly. 3:17 to go. It's a 7-point game late in the fourth.
Communication problems making some noise.
Those edges bend. Leonard gets it away. One-hand attempt incomplete. Jordan Moore tried to pull it in with the right hand. A.J. Wallace in coverage.
Well, the pressure's coming on Riley Leonard, and he felt it, threw it a little high and hard. Jordan unable to pull that one down. Would have been a phenomenal catch. Here it is. 4th down and 5.
Could be the ball game right here. 1 for 1 on 4th down of the game for Duke.
Let's see how many the Jackets bring. Here they come.
Leonard dances, delivers, incomplete and knocked away. Looking for more. It was deflected away.
Tom, against Pittsburgh, they were able to get to the quarterback, get pressure on Slovis with 4 guys a lot of times. They've blitzed quite a bit here today, and what I've really been impressed with is the way they've covered when they've been blitzing. Fantastic job to come with that near hand. Miles Brooks, the sophomore out of Jacksonville Trinity Christian. Wow, a guy that's just matured more and more. His defensive coordinator telling us the Miles Brooks, they can count on him. They certainly can there in such a huge situation. Just man-to-man coverage, knocking it down, putting the ball back in the hands of his offense. Still 3:07 left to play with 3 timeouts for Duke, though. But a big get off the field for Thacker's D.
Jackets trying to win their 3rd in a row in the series. That is Sims. A punishing run. Up near the 45. Cam Dillon on the tackle. Duke will use a timeout. So while we have a moment, let's reflect back on the afternoon and evening for Jeff Sims, the quarterback for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, started with the ground game. Him and Hassan Hall. There's a snap, a little bit off the mark, able to tuck it back in and make a beautiful throw to Nate McCollum. And there's another one ending with a touchdown in the end zone to number 8. But how about this beauty right here? Just dropping it in the bucket of his receiver, Leo Blackburn. Just a beautiful ball. And look at those numbers. 23 of 33. The 227 and the 2 touchdowns, and taking care of it. Just what you ordered up. You couple that with an offensive line that really has had their way, with the exception of this 4th quarter. Looking for him here on it after a nice pickup on 1st down. You've got a 2nd down and 3. Hoping they can stay out there on that football field and just eat into this 3:01 left on the clock.
Now 30 career touchdown passes for Sims. That is 7th in Georgia Tech history. Driven back for a loss. Sims, Ryan Smith wrapped him up.
Elko going to use that timeout here. His 1st here in the 2nd half.
Loss of 2 on the play. Sims chatting with his quarterback coach, Chris Wenke. Brent Key, the interim head coach. Georgia Tech going on the road. James, that win on the road, by the way, at Pitt last week. Now, Pitt was 24th in the country, mind you. That's the first win on the road against a ranked opponent for Georgia Tech since 2016. They won at then number 18 Virginia Tech by 10, 30-20. And here's what Coach Key and the Yellow Jackets have ahead. They'll have a bye week and then start up again at home against Virginia.
And that's the rest of it. And looking back, I mean, it was a tough start to the season. You get Clemson. Then you get on the short week to fighting Kerwin Bells. Ole Miss. Pitt, you mentioned 24th, 3rd down. Empty set. Sims.
That's not enough, James. Not nearly enough. Nick Morris. Damian Franklin. Now Duke is going to burn its final timeout. So Georgia Tech still has the full complement. It is 4th down. And the way that the return game of Duke has responded in the 2nd half in the form of Samir Hagans, who knows? A punt return TD of 81 yards to the dismay of the Yellow Jackets and Jeff Sims. And the last time he returned a punt, that was for 40 yards.
Yeah, here's an opportunity, though, to pin it.
Number 85 is the player of the game today for Duke. His punt return, the first for Duke for a touchdown since 2014. Hagan's the deep man, Shanahan to punt. This will bounce into the end zone.
I'm sure Hagan's, as much as he wanted to go back and give it a try for number 3. That's what you're taught right there. Put those heels on the 10. Let it go into the end zone. Plenty of time. No timeouts remaining. but plenty of time here with 2:41, trailing by 1 touchdown.
Leonard just 109 yards passing today, James, 15 of 29. And overall for Duke, 235 yards of total offense. That is way below their season average of 444, fourth in the ACC, and the pick as well. That was deep into the red zone for Riley Leonard. What do you got now with 2:41 on the clock? Sophomore Riley Leonard growing up fast in a clutch situation. Over the middle. Caught Robertson. 5 yards. Brooks on the hit.
Big lick there by LaMiles Brooks. As soon as the ball was caught, who's going to make a big play here? Who's going to make a big play?
No timeouts for Duke. That's behind the receiver, sliding down at the 35. In Dalmolin, the tight end. 3rd down.
Well, the clock will stop, and that ball, again, we bragged on the consistency and the accuracy of Leonard so much early on in this game. He's been off on a couple throws. That one a little bit behind his target. Goes to the ground. And look out. This is where Andrew Thacker's, in situations like this, his defense has really heated it up and put the pressure on Leonard. They'll back him out here, though.
Just one of their last 7 on 3rd down. Leonard diving for the 30. Boy, he is right at the line to gain, and the chains are moving. Greased and rolling. Leonard, 5 yards. Well, the improvisation.
Like just gritty. He's smooth enough to slither out and then gritty to move the chains.
Probably a good decision there, James, with limited options available. Again, they had struggled recently, James, on 3rd and 5, 1 for their last 7. How's the spot?
Looks pretty good right there. The ball right on the line. It's, you know, I'm not sure. We don't have Jeff Thompson running the 1st and 10 line. I'm not sure who we got in the truck today. I know if it was Thompson, it would have been a little bit off, but I'm not sure. Nothing against him down there. So, all right, here's a 2nd down and 10. Now, can anybody separate offensively? These receivers are getting locked down. Uh-oh.
Pressure from the backside. Leonard got it away. Flag is out. There is a penalty marker. Leonard never saw the defender coming.
15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
It's Jan Juin, I believe, Tom, that delivered the big blow. Curious to see this replay right here. It's going to come right from this side. Sylvain Yonjuin. You know, and maybe they're saying that, you know, you put all your weight. They're trying to protect those quarterbacks, the lower body, but also, you know, maybe it's not just the initial hit, but they're calling it, you know, him putting all of his weight there at the end of that hit. But sometimes it's just tough to do. So that's a tough one there against this Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket defense, just trying to make plays to get off the field to help keep it alive for the Blue Devils.
Inside of 2 minutes to the ground. Reversing direction, trying to go up the middle, Terry Moore, and he's near midfield. In fact, he is right at the 50. Of course, Duke without any timeouts, and the clock is moving. 5 yards on the play.
Yeah, there absolutely has to be a sense of urgency now. Get over that ball, and there they are, ready to snap it off.
Leonard, complete. Pankol, 1st down. Clock will stop momentarily. Reset of the chains. Zamari Walton made the play. 8 yards, 1st down. Duke's got to go. Clock is rolling. From the 42 of Georgia Tech. That's near the 35-yard line. Dalmolin. Brooks on the tackle, 6 yards. Duke driving. The clock continues to roll, and Bates, we're inside of a minute to play. Georgia Tech and Duke. That's incomplete. Looking for more.
Finally a chance for Georgia Tech to catch their breath, bring in some fresh bodies on that rush. There's a look at that previous play.
That's the pass to Dalmolin.
Second down throw with the pressure was out of bounds. Third down and 4, 50 seconds left to play.
Leonard to the 30. That is first down yardage. Complete to Bowen Sims.
Georgia Tech better get set.
That's his first catch for 6 yards. Riley Leonard looking for the end zone back corner, and it's too far. He was going deep for Jordan Moore. Walton back there for Georgia Tech.
Yeah, it's a secondary, Tom. You can tell that they're well coached. They'll run these receivers, just run them right out of bounds and give them nowhere to throw it. I mean, even a perfectly thrown football doesn't have a chance of being a completion. That one, with the pressure, just throwing it away.
35 seconds after the incompletion. Second down from the 30 of Georgia Tech for Duke. Trailing by 7. Pocket holds. Leonard throws. Flag.
Now this might be an illegal hands to the face. Thought maybe they were going to call a holding on the offensive line, but I think it's against Georgia Tech.
Personal foul. Illegal hands to the face. Defense number 8 there. 15-yard penalty.
Kia Scott.
Automatic first down.
You see Scott, who was the right defensive tackle. Just the hands right up underneath the face mask of Chance Lytle. He's pleading his case, but that was a penalty. So these penalties aiding this Duke team. First, it was the personal foul penalty at the beginning of the drive by Sylvain Yongjuan. That time it's Scott.
Riley Leonard throws it inside the 5. That's incomplete.
Tom, again, you've got another receiver slipping coming out of his break. There hasn't been any rain. You know, this is 4 quarters of trying to figure out maybe the right cleats, but there's too much on the line. These guys, they've got to run these routes crisp and be there for their quarterback. Otherwise, they're going to get a free pickoff, and this ball game will be over. 25 seconds left to go here on homecoming. Can the Jackets hold on?
12th play of the drive for Duke. Leonard with 4 receivers looking right to the end zone. It falls incomplete. Pankow was the Duke receiver in the end zone. Walton back there as that one bounced away.
Oh, and he drops this one in here, too. I mean, just a little window right there. And Pankow, there's just been too many drops. That's the ball right there. That's how you take that next step as a program. Go on the road in a hostile environment like this and add to that 4-1 record, or at least give yourself a chance. You make plays like that. Third down coming up now.
This drive aided by 30 yards in penalties against Georgia Tech. On third, Leonard, end zone. Receiver twisting to try to get to it, and a flag comes out. Looking for his buddy Jordan Moore, penalty marker. Can you believe this, Bates?
Pass interference. Defense number 16. The penalty is an automatic first down at the 2-yard line.
Yeah, you know what? It's exciting. It's top, and it's going to be on Harvey. Amari Harvey, who again is in perfect position. Snap that head around. Snap that head around. You're right there in the hip pocket. That receiver's eyes get big. Those hands come up. You're right there. You can feel that body. You turn that head around. It might be an interception instead of a first down, knocking on the door of the goal line. And it's ball game. You got to trust that coaching. So here we go. Still not in, though. 14 seconds remaining.
Leonard looking left to the front left corner. The Blue Devils to Dalmolin. 8 seconds on the game clock, and it's a 1-point game. Touchdown, Duke.
Wow.
Nicky Dalmolin from Riley Leonard.
Wow. Well, they leaned on the flag quite a bit on that drive, but whatever it takes.
Ooh, that snap was a little bit low, but Ham knocks it through.
Yeah, and it was, how about Riley Leonard back to the touchdown pass. He has to go back across his body and get that ball just to start it. And we've seen it on that nice throw to Nate McCollum. Jeff Sims earlier had to do a little bit of the same. But again, cool and calm, this quarterback. You know, that could have been a little bit interesting right there. Dalmolin with that ball in that left hand. Oh, made it interesting anyway to break that plane, but he certainly did. And what do you know? 20-20 ball game.
The official was right on top of it to make the call on the Dalmolin touchdown. 2 yards from Riley Leonard. 14 plays and 80 yards, James, in 2.5 minutes. And credit Jackson Hubbard, the holder, on the extra point as well, because the snap was a little bit low. He got it in place for Charlie Ham. And we're tied. So Leonard able to hang on to it. On the money to Dalmolin.
Yeah, and a nice play call here. Bringing Dalmolin all the way across the field by Kevin Johns, the offensive coordinator. And the first time that this offense has found the end zone here today. You had the 81-yard punt return for the touchdown. But that's the first touchdown for Riley Leonard in the Blue Devil offense.
8th of the season for Leonard. 2nd receiving TD for Nicky Dalmolin. And as I mentioned during the course of that drive, it was aided by 30 yards in penalties against Georgia Tech. And a winning team cashes in on those advantages, and that's exactly what they did. 2-yard pass, Leonard to Dalmolin. It was 10-3 at halftime. Nothing was working offensively for Duke. They got the 81-yard punt return touchdown from Samir Hagans, and then they drive it down the field for the game-tying points. Mike Elko and the Blue Devils are going to OT with Georgia Tech. Surpassing the drama of last year, perhaps, James, when Georgia Tech scored a late TD to win it. OT is in your future. And so, again, each team will have a possession from the 25. Following that, they'll have a possession from the 25 where they have to go for 2. And if we get to the 3rd overtime, it's only 2-point conversions.
And just as you say that, remember, Riley Leonard's dad played basketball at the Citadel. So they're liking the sound of that.
Sims chucks it. Incomplete inside the 10. And Sims is slow to get up, James. Looking for King.
Barely able to get rid of that one and tried to force it in that window. Right in between. Crowd's upset. And, you know, that's a high shot and a low shot on Sims. With the rules protecting on the low shot, it's when you've got the two-leg stationary where they really want to protect those knees of the quarterback, and a tough time getting up here. And remember, it was Sylvain Yonjuan early in that last drive by Duke that was called for the personal foul penalty to aid that drive to keep it alive. It was actually 3 flags by the end of the drive to help to tie it up. And Jeff Sims, man, what a big blow, not just for right here in overtime, but if he's injured, obviously such an incredible talent for this team. And it'll be Zach Gibson, the sophomore, coming in.
Sophomore from Alpharetta, Georgia, and a transfer from Akron. What a moment to come into the ball game. Hasn't attempted a pass this season. Deflected, knocked in the air. Now, if Duke picks that off, the possession ends, and they have the ball. But it fell to the turf. Mausi deflecting it. Well, he had a chance at it as well. Mausi, number 8. And it's also 3rd down for Georgia Tech in this overtime. That same year in 2019 that Georgia Tech lost to the Citadel in OT, they beat Miami on the road 28-21 in OT. Duke hasn't played in OT since 2015. Gibson stands tall, completes the pass, 20-yard line. E.J. Jenkins, 4th down.
And out trots Gavin Stewart, who's 2 for 2 in this game. And remember, his first field goal since 2020 was last week. He went 4 of 4 at Pitt. Perfect 6 of 6 since his return. Here goes number 7 in 2022.
From 37 yards away, Gavin Stewart, right down Broadway in OT. Georgia Tech takes the lead. Possession coming up for Duke. 3 for 3, James. 22 yards in the first quarter, 23 yards in the fourth. And now Stewart, true with the kick from 37 yards in OT.
Able to get the 3 out of it with the backup quarterback coming in. I sure hope that Jeff Sims is okay. Not sure where he ended up on that sidelines of Georgia Tech, but now it'll be up to that defense that has made big play after big play here tonight. Can they stuff Riley Leonard in this Duke offense enough to hold him to a field goal try? A touchdown wins it. And the Blue Devils move to 5-1.
Last win at Georgia Tech was 2018. We're playing in overtime in 2022. Riley Leonard and the Blue Devils. Run it on 1st down. Jaquez Moore.
Moore, the hard runner from Live Oak, Florida, the sophomore who they're going to have to lean on now. Jordan Waters was injured in this game. Jalen Coleman didn't make it. But a nice stop there defensively to hold him to just a couple of yards.
Moore is the leading rusher for Duke in the game with 53 yards. Once again, he is in the backfield with Leonard instructing his offensive lineman. 2nd down. Moore stringing it out. Three on the carry. Now it's 3rd down. Just inside the Georgia Tech 20.
Again, don't try to do too much. From the looks of it, you have a backup quarterback, and if you have to go back and forth a little bit here, you certainly would like your odds. With Riley Leonard as the quarterback, you got to take care of that football. First things first.
Leonard pressured, got rid of it. Higgins, 5-yard line, flag is out behind the play. There's a Georgia Tech player shaken up. There was also a flag in the secondary near the goal line. And that's Higgins. Wallace went down for Georgia Tech. A lot happening on this 3rd down play.
Yeah, and you're right, Tom. It certainly looked like 2 separate flags.
Pass interference. Offense number 1. 15-yard penalty. Repeat 3rd down.
So no, just 1 penalty, and there's your number 1. It's Robertson. You know, he goes straight to blocking. You know, there's no route trying to be run. He just goes and tries to hold up that defender before the ball was thrown. And look at this.
15-yard penalty. Making some noise here in Bobby Dodd right now on the flats, trying to get a stop from their defense, Tom.
Call it 3rd and 20 for Duke.
How many bodies are they going to bring? They've had success with the blitz when called up by Andrew Thacker because of the coverage in the secondary. They'll bring 5. Wow.
Here comes Charlie Ham. He's made it from 45 yards in the second quarter, 28 in the third. This 52 yards away for Charlie Ham, and this would be a career long. To extend this football game in the first overtime. 52-yarder for Ham is no good. Georgia Tech wins